to fix my posture. In all the videos, I'm all like slouched over. I look like this.
It might be the chair.
Yeah. Do you think this one's more sunken in than that
because
one?
they lean back, yeah.
I know, but
The chair's kind of lean
this one
back.
seems more lean back than yours.
It might be a little
You
more
think there've been
broken.
bigger butts in this one?
No, it's probably a little bit more broken.
Broken? Oh, not
Yeah.
broken in, but broken.
No, yeah, because I know if you look underneath, there's springs on the floor. Don't look underneath.
Okay. You got a busted out chair.
There's more springs underneath that one than there are under this one.
By the
on
way, did you
floor.
see? Oh, I don't know if I should say this is pretty gnarly. You know, they have those little. They're almost like kiddie stools, and they're plastic, and they have like plastic weaving on them. It's just plastic that's molded to look like weaving.
Oh, I did.
Did you see that?
The video where the guy sat down?
The guy
on it?
was. I saw the picture of the dude that sat down, and his huevos got like
Yes,
pressed
I saw
in
the
between a
video.
crack in there.
I saw the video, and he stood up, and you could see. I saw that.
That was gnarly, wasn't it?
That was brutal, man.
Yeah. What do you even do?
I question. Yeah,
What do you even do?
that's like a rip the Band-Aid off fast kind of a thing, isn't it? Wouldn't it have to be?
Wait. Rip what off fast?
The Band-Aid off fast?
Yeah. How do you mean rip the band? You're gonna rip the dude's?
Yeah, just like.
No. You get in there with an X-Acto or something.
Do you think
box
the guy
cutter.
wants an X-Acto near that situation?
You know what? If I'm in that situation, and it's wait till the firemen get here, or what? Or
Firemen?
I don't know. Like if
Call
it
911?
if it's yank it off and see if it doesn't just take them, or get someone in there with a box cutter that
Yeah.
I would trust you to get in a box cutter down there.
I don't think I would do that for you. I draw the line there.
They're not naked nuts. There's pants around them.
Well, that's my point, though. Is if he pulled his pants like really tight, as tight as he possibly could on the front side, and then just kind of maybe spray some spray butter on there or something.
Oh yeah, some spray butter, some freaking buttered nuts. Okay.
Maybe
Some Pam. Get out of here, dude.
something.
Golly.
Well, okay, maybe some.
Yeah, get out
some
the
WD-40.
Yikes, dude.
I mean, come on.
Yeah, nuts and bolts with that one, right?
You don't want to.
Come on,
You don't want to.
No. You get in there with a box cutter and you cut the plastic out, so then it can just release.
Okay.
That's what I think. I don't know if you need the jaws of life with the firemen and stuff like that.
Yeah, the guy gets
Yeah,
up there.
yeah.
Yeah, cranks up the hydraulic system.
Yeah, that's crazy, dude.
You're making me laugh. The jaws of life.
Anyway, that's not even close to what I was going to ask you about
Okay.
today.
Yeah, we didn't need to
I'm going to
discuss
ask
that
you
briefly.
about what was your first job?
Well, my first unofficial job was
Yeah,
with-
because there's two
Yeah.
kinds, right? There's the first thing you get paid for, the first thing that some dude gives you a $100 bill for,
Right.
Right? That's usually just an odd-in thing, and then there's the
Yeah.
first time you get a paycheck.
with taxes taken out. and
I want to
everything
hear
like
both
that.
of them.
Okay, so my first odd and ends job was with my dad. My dad used to go to construction sites. He had a big dump truck.
We've talked about this. Yeah. I didn't know he paid you for it. I thought that was just one of those
oh,
come
you
on,
thought we were
son.
slave labor?
No, I thought
Oh.
he was making money off of it, and you were just a tag along.
No,
that
he would
made
pay you a
come-
little bit.
Okay.
Yeah, he wasn't. Well, that'd be cold just to force your kids into manual labor like
I mean,
that.
there's times that parents get their kids to do manual labor
not,
for them
not,
for free.
not when they're making money at it, really. Like if,
I bet you there is.
yeah, I know a guy who says he used to have to get up at 6 a.m. and milk the cows every day, 365 days a year.
Yeah.
Well, but I think that's probably different than, yeah.
Anyway,
that was
sorry, I
mine.
cut you off. So
That's all right, yeah. But
What
yeah,
was-
but he paid us a little bit. And
Okay.
it was
But what was it? Tell it again. Sorry,
So,
I cut you off before you could explain
in
what
Dallas
it was.
during the late 70s and early 80s. There was a big housing boom, and there was all these guys building houses everywhere.
Okay.
And their workers would just, they'd have leftover wood and leftover bricks or whatever from the house they built.
Yeah.
And it would be all over the construction site. And so they would pay my dad to roll up in his dump truck, and anything that was trash, he would just pick up and throw it in the back of his dump truck and take it over and dump it. And he got paid. He could do 4 or 5 loads a day, and I imagine they were a couple $100 a load. And so he made
Yeah.
pretty good money at doing that for
Yeah.
a while. It cost him to dump it, and it cost him gas, so he had a lot of expenses. But
Yeah.
yeah, he did that. That was my first kind of job where my
You
dad
remember-
was my boss.
You remember how much he would give you? Let's
I
say you
don't
go out.
remember.
Let's say you go out and do would you do a whole day with him?
Oh yeah, yeah,
Okay, so you would do the 4 or 5 loads with him.
yeah. And my dad, the thing that I remember
And
almost
he'd be like, here's a nickel.
No, he
I'm
didn't
playing,
do-
I'm playing.
yeah. If you rub my butt,
Rub this bunion, I'll give you a quarter.
I'll give you a quarter.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it wasn't like that. He paid us enough to where it felt like
Like
we
a
were
$20
making good
bill or
money.
something?
Could
For
have
a
been.
day?
He would pay us by the hour.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Nice.
So he wasn't. He was good about it.
There was a structure to it.
There was some structure to it.
Okay.
Because if there was no structure, I guarantee you we would have just pretended to
Yeah.
be sick every morning or
Yeah.
something. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I will tell you this: we did it all over the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex, all over.
Oh.
So he would drive all over Dallas because he had contracts with. I don't know if he had contracts, but he had agreements with
Yeah.
tons of different builders.
Yeah.
And so we'd show up and the job site would be all dirty. We'd just make it all look clean. And sometimes he would work both ends. If there was bigger sheets of plywood that were thrown in the trash or 2x4s that he thought he could resell,
Yeah, he would go
he would do
resell
that.
them.
And also that was at a time too when they were putting copper wiring in homes. And guys would cut the ends off of wire and there would be little copper wiring everywhere.
Ah.
And so he would take that to our house and put
And
it
they
in a-
stopped doing that because they found out it was overheating and blowing gaskets, right?
Yeah,
Or
yeah,
not
yeah,
gaskets, but you
yeah.
know what I mean.
But copper wire was a big thing.
Uh-huh.
And he actually,
That might be why a lot of houses don't burn down anymore.
well, I think they still use copper wire.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
shows how much I know. I have
Yeah.
no idea.
I still think they use copper wire. I think what you're talking about is the reason they use fiber optic, because the price of what my dad did was my dad would pick up all these little chunks of copper wire
Uh-huh.
and he'd take them home and throw them on our garage. So we had a corner of our garage that had, and they had sheathing on them and everything.
Uh-huh.
But he found out that the copper wire was worth a little bit, right? So he waited for a long time, and then, he stored up little pieces of copper wire for years.
Okay.
And then the price of copper skyrocketed. And my dad had us go out in the garage and strip off the
And
plastic,
strip it all off.
and he just sold the copper. Yeah, and he paid us for that too.
Nice.
Yeah, but that didn't last long because you weren't supposed to burn things in the city.
Sure.
But I found out that if imagine the chemicals coming out of this.
Oh, all the did you guys burn all that plastic?
So my dad didn't know I was doing it, but I found a 55-gallon drum.
Okay. Like an
and-
oil drum kind
like
of
an oil
looking.
drum, but it was just empty. And I dumped a whole bunch of the copper in there.
The copper or the plastic?
Copper with the plastic rubber sheathing on it.
Okay.
And I just lit a match to it and burned it all down until it was just copper at the bottom.
Oh.
And then I gave it to him. He was thrilled because it took, instead of paying
Yeah.
me, 10 hours worth of work, I did it in half an hour,
You burnt all the plastic
Yeah,
off
but
of it.
can you imagine the chemical stuff
Oh
coming
my
off?
gosh. That's why you have that twitch in your eye now.
Yeah, that twitch, I can't get it. Yeah, people think I'm lying because my eyes blink a lot, but that's
Yeah.
not really what's happening.
That's just chemical poisoning.
yeah,
Plastic poisoning.
That and when we lived in Red Oak, we used to burn stuff out
I
there.
remember that. Yeah, we used to burn because there was no
Yeah, no
dump
trash pickup.
or no trash pickup.
Right. So we lived
Is that
far
just
enough-
because we live far enough out that they didn't do the routes?
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
But everybody did it out there.
Yeah.
But we burned everything, and that
Yeah.
meant we had a VCR that went out one time.
And you burnt
And
that.
I remember Shelly just said, "Take it out and throw it in the barrel and burn it." So we burned it in the barrel, and it sent off some
Sparks?
You could smell that weird, boy. Yeah.
I remember you had there's two things I remember about that. I remember you had that big old drum
Yeah.
and you would light everything on fire and then you had this metal grating you'd put over the top of it.
Yeah.
Right? It was almost like it looked like a piece of, hatched fence or something,
Yeah,
basically,
yeah.
so that things couldn't pop up out at it.
Right.
you
Because
know?
if something like an ash flew out of it into the grass.
Yeah, it could.
Because we lived on a 5-acre place that had some dried grass during the summer.
yeah.
And it could catch on fire pretty
Uh-huh.
quick. Yeah. So it was a trick that Quapill taught me, Daryl Quapill.
Daryl Quafill.
Yeah.
And the other thing I remember about is that pretty quickly you found out that dryer lint was perfect starter.
Yeah. Yeah, we would store it. Yeah. Because you could light that and drop it in there and it would
Yep.
burn real good.
I remember we used to go. It was we got our detergent in the box.
Yeah.
And in the laundry room there was one box that was filled with detergent and one that was filled with old dryer lint.
Right.
And you would take a couple of those out there every time you did the fire.
Yeah, just drop it on top and it would get things going fast.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, but we burned everything out there. But so that was my first job kind
Yeah.
of job. But
Did
my
you have
first-
any other odd end jobs like that where they just handed you some cash that wasn't with Grandpa?
Yeah, I did. one summer I taught little kids how to swim in somebody's backyard pool.
Okay.
And I did that between my junior
Was it an
and
above
senior
ground
year.
pool or?
No, it was a real pool. It was a coach.
Could you imagine taking swimming lessons in an above ground pool?
Yeah, that would be very good. Yeah.
By the way, if there was ever a white trash Olympics, I bet you above ground pool laps would be one of the
Yeah,
events.
but you'd have to swim in circles. 'Cause
Yeah.
it wasn't
Can you think of
far
any?
enough
What
across.
else would be in the white trash Olympics?
White trash Olympics there would be fence jumping,
Okay.
like not
Like
just,
hurdles,
Yeah,
but every hurdle is a 8-foot fence.
no, yeah, but you'd have to have the wire, the barbed wire at
barbed
the
wire
top
on
that
top
leaned one
of it.
direction.
And you have to
Because-
carry your piece of carpet with you as you run
Yeah,
it,
yeah,
right?
yeah, because
throw
you
it
throw it
over,
over, yeah.
grab that carpet key. Dude,
I
I
must have
love
told
that.
you how to do that.
Yeah, I
Me
do.
and
Well,
Gary-
I've also watched enough movies about
Yeah,
whatever.
So
you know?
me and Gary Phillips we would ride the bus to Six Flags in Arlington. Or
Yeah. Well,
we
you
would
told me you
hitch
do
a
that
ride.
to sneak into
Wet n'
concerts.
Wild.
You would do that.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
We went to the fair multiple times, State Fair of Texas, with a piece of carpet, and we would leave the carpet there too, and come back and it
get
was
out
still there
and take it there.
Yeah. Actually, we would throw it back over the fence into some bushes or something.
Yeah.
because we could just walk out on our way
Yeah,
out.
yeah.
But yeah, me and Gary knew how to. We could scale any fence known
So
to
that
man.
would be the white
Yeah.
trash Olympics.
That would be like the carpet pole vault, kind of the
Yeah,
carpet
yeah.
vault. Maybe the carpet vault would be one.
What else would be in the white trash Olympics?
You'd have to have the run. You'd have to have the run from Cops sprint,
Okay. Yeah.
and probably the run from Cops distance.
Okay.
You know,
Yeah.
and you could also have like a hiding.
What would be the equivalent of a hammer throw? An actual hammer throw, just throwing a little hammer.
No, yeah. Spin around in circles and
Yep.
then throw it. No,
Yeah. In the shooting events, you'd just be blowing up beer bottles instead of targets.
You're talking like throwing for distance is what you're talking about. We used to launch
The
snowballs.
chancla throw.
Well,
Chancla's a flip flop.
yeah. You'd have moms in
The
that.
flip flop throw.
Yeah, where a kid would mouth off and
Yep.
How quick could you knock
Okay,
down
that's
four
part of the white
kids?
trash Olympics. Is
That
the
would
flip
be, and
flop
moms
throw.
would be eligible for that.
Yep. Flip flop throw.
Flip flop for sure.
Say that 5 times fast.
Flip flop throw.
Flip flop throw.
And I was thinking, I remember, and I'll just give you some of the fun stuff we did.
Okay.
So we used to, you're not supposed to shoot off fireworks in the city. So somehow or another we'd acquire bottle rockets, and we would hide in like wooded areas and shoot them at people as they walked by. Yeah.
That reminds me of in one of the Jackass movies. They're at a not a driving range, a
Yeah.
golf course, and they're hitting the air horn when dudes are teeing
Oh
off.
yeah. Yeah. So that would have maybe that's the bottle rocket. I don't know what you'd call that.
Yeah.
Firing
Bottle rocket archery.
practice. Yeah. I guess you could do some sort of. You could probably do some sort of drive-by.
Sheesh, we're getting.
Getting kind of
I'm
dark
talking
on it.
white trash
Okay,
Olympics,
white
maybe
trash.
not hood Olympics.
White trash. Apple Core Baltimore would be huge.
Apple Corp. Tell me what Apple. I don't think a lot of people know what Apple.
They
Corp
don't
Baltimore
because I was
is.
asking some kids the other day. They were eating apples outside.
Okay.
And I saw them, so I went out there. So you got an apple for me? And they said, yeah. So Apple Corp Baltimore works like this. So when you're growing up, sometimes you'd go to one of the kids' houses and mom would have apples.
Uh-huh.
Everybody would start eating their apples, and then whoever finished their apple first would have an apple core left.
Yeah.
And he would say apple core, and whoever said Baltimore first, the person with the apple core would say, who's your friend? And he would name one of the other kids. So they would all jet. It's kind of like that game where you spin the bottle. Like I've seen it on YouTube and
Oh
stuff.
yeah, and then you get to like throw a ball.
Throw
yeah.
an egg or something at
Yeah,
him.
yeah.
You spin the bottle,
yeah.
and when the bottle stops, it points at one guy, and he grabs the egg and fires
gets
it
to
to the
fire
guy.
to the other guys,
But that's
yeah.
what Apple Core was. Apple
Yeah.
Core Baltimore.
You would just
So-
bean whoever got named.
Yeah, and sometimes kids, you had to watch them because sometimes kids wouldn't really want an apple, and they'd take one bite and say Apple Core, and you just took off running. If you didn't say Baltimore, because a full-size apple, although it wouldn't hurt you, it would explode and it would just be
That's
apple
greatness.
everywhere.
And we're talking, because here's the thing: when you introduced Apple Core Baltimore to us,
Right.
it didn't make any sense to me
Yeah.
because we were a Granny Smith family.
Yeah. And
Right?
they're not very big, yeah.
Well, they're not very big, and they are hard as a rock,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So you're talking about Red Delicious. You're talking about that kind
the
of
normal.
Yeah.
Well, we didn't. I don't remember as a kid understanding there was different kinds of apples. There was just an apple.
A red apple.
Yeah.
Yeah. And red apples will explode on you
Right.
for sure.
They yeah. And I remember one time we had a kid. We were eating apples, and one kid. There was two brothers named Billy and Donald Forbes.
Forbes. Like
And
the
they
Forbes
were-
list.
Yeah, they were white trash, boy. They both had that super blonde hair in the hood.
Okay.
So there were a couple of other white kids.
Yeah, yeah.
But they lived in the 12 Hills apartments, so they were even more white trash than
Kids used to be more blonde back in the day, not because of genetics, but because they spent so much time outside.
Yeah. And these boys,
Like I
boys were
had
super
blonde hair when I was little. It's just because you spend so much time
Yeah,
outside.
Yeah. And I remember we were all standing around eating apples, and Billy wasn't paying attention. And he was probably, 20 yards away, goofing around with his bicycle. And he wasn't looking, and I took one bite, and I said, apple core. And his brother, Donald, his little brother, said, Baltimore. I said, who's your friend? He said, Billy. And everybody knew he was going to say Billy. And Billy had a blonde burr at the time.
Yeah, buzz cut, like a buzz cut.
His
type
parents
deal.
used to just burr it off
Yeah.
once a summer or so.
By the way,
Yeah, that's white trash too, by the way, or it was. When I was
well,
a kid.
it also
You just burn it off.
in the humidity of Texas summer,
Yeah, it gets so hot.
it's the most economic thing to do. You know.
Yeah.
What I was gonna say is, a lot of people don't know what a burr is. That's a southern term for a buzz
it?
cut,
Okay.
I think, and also chili bowl.
Yeah.
People don't say chili bowl around
They
here.
don't, but I think they can picture what a chili bowl haircut is.
If they get the context of a haircut,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
But I've said chili bowl and someone said, "What are you talking about?" And
Right.
I'm like, when your haircut looks like a
Your
chili
mom
bowl.
may have made that up too,
No. I've heard people say
Okay,
chili bowl.
okay.
Chili bowl is a thing.
because
Yeah.
I never heard it. Till
A bowl
she came.
cut. No, a bowl cut.
I
is
never
a-
heard it till she came along.
No,
she-
I've heard other people say chili bowl.
Okay.
At least I hope so.
Yeah.
Sound off in the comments.
So we're all sitting there, and he says Donald, right? And
Donald says Billy.
Donald says Billy.
Yeah.
Little Donald says Big Billy. And so I line him up, and right as I'm about to line him up, he starts riding away. And I'm thinking, perfect, now I got
Yep.
a moving target.
Yeah,
And I
it's
let
like
it-
on Elf when he hits that kid running with the snowball,
That was how
where he lines him up and
That was how it was. And I lined him up so beautifully. And all the kids, it was almost like, when somebody hits a last second shot in a basketball game and
Yeah,
everybody
yeah.
quiets down.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
it,
yeah,
like,
yeah.
like it takes 10 minutes. This is how I remember it. I threw it and it floated, and you could see him riding away, and just boom, it blew up on his head, and it knocked him over, and he crashed his bike, and we all died laughing. Because that's what you do.
You messed up Billy, man.
That wasn't the worst thing Billy ever had happen to him, and it wasn't my fault in this case.
Is Billy the one that had that bad bike wreck?
Yeah.
Okay, tell me about Billy's bad bike.
So at the 12 Hills
Billy's,
Apartments,
yeah,
Billy-
the ballad of Billy's bad bike
and
wreck.
Billy was a real doofus. He's either,
Just kind of an airhead.
yeah, and he could have turned into something great. I don't know.
Yeah.
Because I lost track of him.
Yeah.
But at the time, I thought this dude's either going to work
Yeah.
in a factory as a screw putter inner,
Yeah.
or he's going to be in jail at some
Yeah,
point.
yeah. Or he wrote the source code for, you know what I mean? Like he saw the writing on the wall.
Some of these kids,
Yeah, and
man.
he wrote the source code for
Yes.
Reddit or something like, you know what I
Something
mean?
crazy like
Yeah,
that.
Yeah.
But I'm going to
and
guess.
his roommate stole it from him, so he only made part of the money of
There
it.
you go.
Yeah,
There you
yeah,
go.
Okay.
My guess is he's screwing screws in somewhere.
Yeah, yeah.
Or he might be a mechanic or something. I could see him doing.
Yeah,
something
those
like
jobs don't really exist anymore. At
Right.
least not ones. I was
Right.
talking to one of my buddies about this. You used to be
Right,
able to buy a 3-bedroom house,
Yeah.
by putting mayonnaise into a bottle all
Yeah,
day long.
yeah,
you know what
yeah,
I mean, right?
You
And
have a
those jobs
repetitive
don't
job.
really.
You're
those
right.
jobs don't really exist anymore.
You're right. And so this story about Billy was we had a big giant hill that went down.
What was the name of the apartment?
The 12 Hills Apartments.
12 Hills Apartments.
And the issue was there was 12 apartment complexes, and Oak Cliff is really hilly.
Uh-huh.
And it was like all of them were packed together, but they were on all on hills.
Yeah.
So they're all lumped together. It was like one big giant mega.
Yeah. So when you say I had to go uphill to school both ways.
Yeah, I did.
Shut up.
I'll drive you through sometime. You'll be like, dang, you did have to go.
Because
you had to go
that's
downhill
always the
too,
thing
though.
that old folks say.
Yeah,
We had to
yeah.
go 12 miles uphill both ways in the
Yeah.
snow to get to school back when I was a
It
kid.
rarely snowed.
I know.
But we did have to go uphill and downhill and uphill and downhill. If you're growing up, you don't want to ride a bicycle in Oak Cliff because it's just all up.
And it gets stolen all the time.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, you don't leave it.
Yeah.
You ride somewhere, you stay with it.
You don't lock it up
You don't
either.
even lock it up. No.
Dudes will take it.
Yeah. So there was this hill that goes down from the apartment complex, and at the bottom of this hill was a 1-lane road, like an alley.
Okay.
Okay. And
when you say 1 lane, was it designated one way, or would people come up and down it either way?
it was up and down, but it was so thin, it was only about as wide
okay.
for one car.
Yeah,
and you
yeah.
could squeeze 2 by if you had to.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah. But I'm saying
Yeah.
it wasn't like a one-way street, 1 lane. It was people would come either way, just depending on who got there
Right.
first. Okay.
Right. But it wasn't a wide street.
Yeah.
Right. So there was this.
Was it the kind of alleys you had behind houses that would like link the backyards together of places?
kind of, yeah, but it
Okay.
was behind the apartment complex.
Okay. Okay.
You know, and
Is that where dumpsters and stuff were, and trash cans and stuff
no,
were on that alley?
they were up inside the. We used to watch the dump truck or the trash truck go up that hill, and it was. You didn't think it was ever going to make it because
Yeah.
you know,
yeah, yeah.
it's a big hill.
Yeah.
So
That's
so
one of
there
those
was
that makes
a-
you go, man, engineering is crazy.
Yeah. So there was one of these. There was one of these.
I once saw a big giant, cat. You know those cat diggers
yeah.
that have the big arms like that?
Right.
We got a U-Haul stuck in the mud one time when I
Yeah.
was working construction.
Okay.
Because it was raining like crazy and this place hadn't been built out yet, and
Okay.
we were trying to unload wood into this building we were working on,
Right.
and the U-Haul got stuck down in the mud. And the guys who were working there, they came and they tied it. They put a chain around the axle of this U-Haul and then used the cap to just pull it out of the mud. And it was like watching Superman lift a
Yeah,
car.
yeah, yeah.
You're like,
Those things are amazing.
you're like, that thing could have tossed that U-Haul if it wanted
Yeah,
to. That's
yeah.
how strong it
The
was.
scarier ones are ones that have grabbers, like not just a scoop, but they have a grabber on
But
the
I'm
other
saying
side.
the
Yeah, yeah,
idea
yeah.
that it was strong enough to pull
just
it, like
pull
it
it out of-
was
out of some
it was
stuck
like
mud.
witnessing superhero stuff right in my face. I was like,
Right.
"Whoa, that's crazy
And
that
when
something's that
when
strong."
when the machine pulls up, you're like, are they really going to try this? And once they do it, you're like, hey, God, that crap.
yeah,
easy.
it doesn't look like it can do
Yeah,
it, you know? Yeah.
But it's easy for it.
Anyway, used to watch them go up the hill and they wouldn't be able to make
Yeah.
it. So anyway, you guys are at the top of this hill
So
and
there
there's
was
one
there
way.
was this test of courage you could take, right?
Yeah, like a white trash bat mitzvah.
Yeah, but it wasn't just white trash. There was black kids there. There's probably more black kids than white kids.
It was a low income
It was a low income test of courage.
rite of passage,
Yes.
test of manhood.
So the idea was, if you could ride down that hill and then make that turn,
oh.
because behind on the other side of the street, there was woods, like a wooded area, but it had a barbed wire links like this far apart. One close to the ground here, and here, and it was about 4 feet tall.
And this
and
is in
so-
front of the woods.
Yeah, because they didn't want the kids at the apartments going in the woods, so they put this little barbed wire, like it
Okay.
was going to stop them, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It didn't.
Y'all knew how to use carpet.
Not just that, but you could hurdle that.
Yeah,
4
yeah, yeah.
feet, no big deal as a kid. And we would dive over it and roll out. You know, we
Yeah,
got
yeah,
so
yeah,
good
yeah.
at it. Or jump over it and grab a tree, you know. But anyway, but you couldn't just go straight down it because you're going so fast you couldn't make that turn. So you'd start at the top one corner and you'd go at an angle
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
down the hill.
Yeah.
And so one day,
Billy.
Billy, the older one, the airheaded one, decides he's going to try it, you know. And we're all watching.
And you guys, here's what I'm guessing. You guys are looking at each other like,
Yeah.
of all the people who should be doing this, Billy ain't the guy.
Yeah, yeah. Well, because some of us were too smart to even try.
Did you ever do it?
No. You had to take your feet off the pedal so you couldn't brake. It's like, it's risky.
That's never been your game either.
No, I'm not a risk taker.
Some dudes,
Yeah.
really, they're adrenaline junkies, they're speed demons, whatever it is.
Yeah.
We're not those
But it was
people.
almost one of those things where, come on, Billy, what are you, chicken? Are you chicken? And Billy just fell prey to the
Yeah.
peer pressure.
Yeah.
So he starts
Some
going
kids have never
down.
been like, yeah, I'm a chicken. Chickens
Yeah.
are delicious. What do you want from me? You know what I mean? And then other guys who were like, no, I'm not a chicken.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Billy would fight you. He was one of those kids that probably had more fights than anybody too. Tough kid because he just was relentless white kid.
Yeah.
And that's probably why he got along with all
Because
those
he
guys
never
so
picked
well.
any battles.
He didn't pick any battles, but
He just fought them all.
and he had a certain amount of respect because he was just tough.
Sure.
Tough white kid. You know?
Yeah.
So he starts going down this hill and he's picking up speed, and right near the bottom, he's focused, and somebody calls his name and he turns.
Did he go diagonal? Did
Oh,
he?
yeah, everybody
at
did.
least he was.
Yeah.
Because I could see the way you're describing Billy, and if you're out there, Billy Forbes, sorry, we're not.
Yeah.
We're talking about little you, not you now, whoever you
Yeah,
are.
he's probably.
Yeah, The way you're talking about is Billy's like, well, I can do it straight. You
Yeah,
know,
I'll do it
like
straight. I'll
yeah.
show y'all.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't think even he was crazy.
He
enough
wasn't
for
that wild. So he
'Cause
still
it was a big hill and
Yeah.
it was a
Steep.
tight turn.
Yeah. So he said, okay, cool. I'll do the. He did the diagonal.
So he's going down super fast. He gets right near the bottom, and somebody yells out his name. And when they do, he turned, and when he turned, it made it twisted his, and so he basically launched himself into the barbed wire.
head over handlebars.
Head over handlebars, and he hit the barbed wire and just
Yikes.
wound up in it. And he wound up in it.
That sounds
and
like
it
a
was,
Looney Tunes move.
I know. We were shocked because
Like Tom.
like you'd expect him to either hit it and bounce off,
Yeah, or Tom-
fly over.
yeah.
Yeah.
Tom and Jerry, he trips on something and spins himself up in the.
Yeah, and then he's wrapped up.
Yeah.
That's what happened. He hit so hard. I'm not lying.
like Scooby and the gang set a trap for one of the monsters and
Yeah. Hey, Ronald, right out of here, Ronald.
yeah. And you know that noise I'm doing.
Yeah.
And then he's rolled up. It was really the janitor.
That's right. Oh, it would have been for you kids. I could have got away with it. Yeah, but he was
So
he
Billy
was-
legit
he's twisted up in
spools
it.
himself up into this
Spooled
bar.
up in it, and we didn't even know it was possible. But we tried getting him out, and every time we tried, he'd start screaming in pain. We're like,
Oh, my gosh.
So I ended up calling the fire department. They came and
This
cut the
conversation's
wires.
coming full circle because we started on a dude getting his nuts trapped in a stool.
Maybe that's where we should go with this conversation. Is the weirdest crap you've ever seen, the harshest consequences for. And I haven't seen a lot, but I've heard about some pretty
I haven't
serious
seen
ones.
a lot. I'm trying to think if there's anything that jumps off the top of my head.
You know what jumps out at me immediately is I don't know if it was you or
Zach?
Zach, but your mom went to the Dallas Zoo with you guys one time. She was one of the
Chaperones?
Do you remember this?
Is this the lion? Yeah. Yeah. I think I've only remember hearing the story told, so I
Okay.
don't remember if I was there
It might
or
have
if
been
it's,
Zach's class
It might
then.
have been, yeah.
Yeah. So apparently, your mom was at the zoo with all the kids, and they heard the lion just roaring. And if you've ever heard a lion roar in real life, it's incredibly loud and
Yeah,
and
yeah.
it just echoes. It's like a bullhorn. Rrr, rrr, and this lion was roaring. They couldn't figure out they're like, what's happening to the lion? And they were on the other side of the park.
And they could hear it roaring
They
from
could
way
hear it.
over
So
there.
they kind of said, let's go look at the lion. Something's going on over there. So they made their way over to the lion. And what they discovered was a little kid. So the lion was behind a chain link fence that was
It wasn't even glass, it was chain link.
Yeah, but
huh?
it was enclosed.
Sure.
And it was in roof and everything connected to a cement building, right? So he had come out and he was in this little chain link area, probably 20 by 20, not huge, with maybe a 20 feet tall, just
Yeah.
a big square. And about 6 feet in front of that was a railing that they didn't want you to cross that had, lion, on it
yeah.
and details. And there was a little bitty black kid leaning on that rail, eating a big giant turkey leg.
Turkey leg.
And that lion was, "Rawr."
By the way, the only two places you can get a turkey leg are at a state fair or at the Dallas Zoo. You know what I mean? They don't serve turkey or a Renaissance festival. You know what I
Maybe
mean?
so, yeah.
That's the only three places in anywhere that
You
they
know
serve
what? I
turkey
think
legs.
back then it was pretty rare, but I do know at the state fair or at the Dallas Zoo you could get yourself a turkey leg.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Most state fairs,
Yeah.
Dallas or otherwise, Texas or otherwise,
Right.
And then the Dallas Zoo specifically,
You could get a turkey leg.
Yeah.
And if you haven't seen one, it's like a chicken. It's like eating the chicken leg,
yeah.
but it's like 3 times bigger. It's
Yeah.
giant.
And it's like the darkest meat. You know what I mean?
But they're good though. It's
They
good.
juicy.
If you,
Yeah. What?
But they juicy.
They juicy.
But I remember
the title
that,
of the
that-
episode.
That's
They
yeah.
juicy.
Yeah, but seeing him wrapped up inside that barbed wire was it traumatized us all, and I think at that point it was pretty much none of the kids would do it anymore.
Yeah.
And it was Donald Forbes, white kid with
Like I said, the Valley of
Super-
Billy's bike accident.
Billy Forbes.
Billy.
Billy Forbes ended up getting in a car accident with his mom and broke his leg in like 4 places. And
Sheesh,
he
man.
had a full length. He had a full length.
Billy
cast
had it
on
rough, man.
Billy had it rough. Yeah. And I think his mom. I rode in their car one time and she drove like a maniac. So it didn't surprise me if they got in a wreck.
Oh, dang.
But it was
I'm trying to think if I've ever witnessed any bad wrecks or anything like that. You remember when we found those, if you go downstate, down into, right on the edges, down into Garden City, we found next to those softball fields, we found those.
oh yeah, those little motocross or bicycle.
Yeah,
BMX.
like BMX jumps.
BMX track.
Yeah. You remember
I remember.
what happened to me?
Yeah, your mom got real mad at me for taking you down there.
We used to go over there every now and then, and we were doing, and no one would jump super. We were just mostly going over them. But I got some air one time, and when I landed, I did that same thing. I went over the front of my handlebars and chipped a big old piece of tooth out.
I remember that.
I was like whistling for weeks.
Yeah, you were
Just
talking
kidding.
with a whistle.
I don't think I ever had a whistle, but I look like Lord Christmas for quite a while, dude.
It was a pretty big chunk, yeah. And I remember your mom was. Now, no, you know what? Now that you say bicycle wreck, I think I told you about Irid Allen.
Irid,
Rad Allen.
Rad Allen.
So one of the big things when I was a
Spell
kid,
Irid.
IRAD.
Okay.
Irad.
Irad Allen.
Yeah, but he was another white kid. He lived in kind of the richer area,
Okay.
but he was one of those kids that always had a nice bike.
Sure.
So he would ride my direction, I would ride his direction. It was me and Irid. I just called him Rad, and a kid named Michael Losick.
I've heard the name Michael Losick.
Michael Losick now rides a Harley, and he's all tatted up. And I saw.
Okay.
I think
Did
I'm
Michael
friends with him
did
on
Michael
Facebook.
Losick have a big old scary sister?
No. That was Charlie Howard's sister, Helen Howard.
Helen Howard.
Yeah.
Okay.
Michael Losick's dad was the one who was a
Hell's Angel.
a preacher.
Oh, okay. That's how I know that one.
Yeah.
Okay.
And me and Alan Thompson got him busted.
Is it Michael Osick or Michael Losick?
Michael Losick?
Losick. Okay.
Yeah. And
So Father Losick and his son Michael.
Yeah. And so we go riding, and there was this little
We're
motocross.
name dropping like crazy
I know,
today,
that's great.
man.
And there was, like you said, there
You
was
got to
this-
see if you can find all these people and tag
I
them
will.
in this.
I will.
Okay.
'Cause last time we talked about Alan Thompson, I tagged him.
Did he end up watching it?
He watched it, and he said everybody who grew up and I said, and I think on the podcast I talked about how tough Alan was.
Yeah.
And he commented and said everybody in Oak Cliff was tough back then. But yeah, so it's me and Rad, and no, it might have been Jimmy Britton, the other rich kid. I think it was Jimmy Britton. Now that I say that.
Jimmy Britton.
Yeah.
Okay.
And he had an above ground pool, but they had dug out the
okay.
deep end, out of the ground. So they put a plastic bottom on it. It was,
Okay.
above ground pools just have a sheet of plastic on the bottom.
Yeah.
And they had dug out a big hole, so it was like 9 feet deep,
Okay.
and they got extra big.
It's like because in the house that we lived in right over there off Cloverdale, there was that big divot in the background.
Yeah.
Or in the backyard.
right. It's like putting
if
above ground on that.
on that
Yeah.
and letting it go.
So you had a deep end.
Yeah.
So me and that's why I was with him, because Jimmy Britton and Rad were good buddies because they had a little bit more money, right?
They live nearer
Yeah.
to each other.
And so we rode over to this BMX little area.
Okay.
And it was kind of in the woods, and some kids had carved it out. It wasn't a real one, right? wasn't fancy. And me and Jimmy are watching, and Rad goes over a jump and disappears. And usually you'd see him come out the other side, right?
Yeah. Because that's there are a couple of hills, and
Yeah.
then there's a swerve out to come start over.
So he goes over one jump, and he goes over the second. We're just watching, and he disappears. He's gone. So I'm like, where'd he go? Jimmy's like, I don't know. So we rode over there, and he's at the bottom of this
Yeah,
hill.
Jimmy had a wormhole, went to hell.
Irid or a Rad.
Irid.
Yeah. And so he had nasty wreck.
How did he wreck? Did he?
We don't know.
Huh.
Because he was just twisted up in his bike, but he was convulsing.
Oh.
He was having a seizure. And so I'm like, yeah. And Jimmy's like, what do we do? I'm like, I ain't touching him.
Yeah.
Jimmy's like, should we hold his tongue so I didn't swallow it? I said, I ain't touching him.
Yeah.
And Jimmy said, I ain't touching him. So we just stood there until he stopped. And then we went over to him and kind of picked him up, and you could tell he was
Out of
concussed
it.
real bad. And so we helped him walk his bike. Jimmy and I and Rad walked his bike back home, but his mom wasn't home and the door was locked. So we sat on the front porch with him, his little 5 or 6 cement
like a
steps.
stoop kind of thing.
Yeah. We sat on the front porch with him, and he kept trying to go to sleep, and I had heard if you have a concussion, you go to sleep, it could cause real problems. So I was like, stay awake, and for like an hour.
I took a nap later that day after I busted my tooth
Did
out.
you really?
That's why I have that twitch. Just kidding.
Everybody has a twitch eventually.
Yeah.
right? But anyway, that was a Finally,
So y'all
his
waited
mom
until his
came.
mom rolled up.
Yeah.
And they said, "See you, Rad."
Yeah, and as soon as she rolled up, we're like, he had a wreck and he was convulsed. I don't think we knew the word back then.
Yeah.
But he had a
Spasm.
yeah.
Yeah.
He was spazzing out. We probably said something like that.
Yeah.
But as soon as she rolled up, we jetted, boy. We didn't want no part of that,
Yep.
And
But
he
like, if
ended
we
up-
leave quickly enough, she'll forget which two boys it was, and it can never come back to us.
Yeah. I don't think back then, depending on who the kids were, you might not know who the kids' parents were anymore.
Yeah.
Now Jimmy Britton's parents knew my parents, but only because Jimmy Britton lived pretty close. I mean, not too far away. But that was a pretty frightening deal for we might have been 10.
Yeah, seeing a seizure when you're 10 has got to be scary, man.
It was pretty freaky.
Seeing a seizure at any time is probably scary,
Yeah.
especially for a 10-year-old.
You had a situation, didn't you? You want to talk about that real quick?
Yeah, a few months ago, it would have been like October.
Yeah.
Actually, I know it was October because I just paid off the last hospital bill. It was
Yeah.
postmarked.
Yeah.
Post-dated.
Post-dated.
Yeah. So I've been playing basketball more and more regularly the last few years. I found a group of friends. And so for the last 3 or 4 years, I've been playing 2 or 3 times a week.
Right.
And a new development for me in those 3 or 4 years is that I was getting migraines every time I'd play. It might have just been the physical exertion or whatever.
Right.
And I think, other things, I've since been able to kind of curtail that, with taking, a daily vitamin, magnesium, fruit and electrolytes and stuff. I've been able to kind of get rid of it. And so, I was doing good with that routine of like making sure I didn't get migraines after I played. And then I kind of eased off of it and got them a little bit more, but never bad enough to make me feel too bad.
Right.
And then one night I'm playing over at the rec center here.
Right.
And I can feel anybody who gets migraines, it starts with a vision deal.
Yeah.
You start feeling blurry vision. And it's like, when, speaking of Tom and Jerry, when you'd get smacked on the head and the stars see those kind of stars and blurs. Right. It's almost like they're imprinted on your eyeballs.
Yeah.
And so I was getting that, and I'm like, well, I'm in the middle of playing. This doesn't usually happen until after I'm done playing.
Right.
I bet you I can play through it.
Finish up.
Get to the other end of it.
Right.
And then go home and be miserable, you know what I mean?
Right.
So that's what I'm doing, and it gets worse and worse and worse.
Real quickly.
No, I mean over the course of 2 or 3
Well, when you're focusing on the game, sometimes you don't notice it until you stop for just a second.
Yeah, so over the course of another 2 pickup games, it gets real bad, and I finally go, hey guys, sub me out.
Yeah.
Sub me out. And I see one guy go, yeah, sub him out, And then I woke up
Where'd you wake up?
on the ground of the rec center.
On the ground of the rec center. Yeah.
And there was paramedics around me.
So you'd been out for a while.
Who knows? I don't know how long I
mean,
was out.
it takes paramedics 5 minutes to get there. At
Yeah,
least,
so
right?
I could have been out for 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Right. And they essentially said, hey, you had a seizure.
Yeah.
We're taking you to the hospital to get checked out.
Right.
Right.
And we're only smiling because we've talked about
Because
this.
I'm okay,
It's not funny.
like
Yeah, but
they took me to the hospital, they checked me out. I don't have any brain tumors or anything, so there's
Right.
who
It's not
care-
a tumor.
There's nothing wrong with me.
right.
But yeah, so from what I can gather, from what people told me, I think I passed out and hit my back on the little metal benches that they have on the side for people to sit
Little
while
bleacher.
they're waiting.
Yeah.
Little bleacher bench. And I think it was that impact that might have caused me to have the seizure.
Gotcha.
It was I just passed out from
Yeah. Blurry.
know,
Yeah.
brain
get a-
nausea.
Right,
you know what I mean?
right. Yeah.
And then it was the impact that might have on my back, around the spine or whatever area that might
Right,
have caused me to
right.
have a seizure.
Yeah.
A couple months later, I'm playing in City League,
Right.
right? And a guy comes up and he's like, "I'm glad you're okay."
Just out of the blue.
Out of the blue. It was one of the guys we had played against,
Yeah,
right?
Right.
We beat them. And then he comes up and
Got to throw that in there.
and then he comes up and he's like, "Dude, I'm glad to see you're okay." And I'm like, "Oh yeah, my ankle's feeling much better because I had rolled my ankle a few weeks before."
Right.
And then he's like, "No." And I'm like, "What are you talking about?" He's like, "I was there when you had your seizure." And I'd never met this guy before.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
And I'm spacing his name. I wanted to remember it because he was so nice to me about it.
Yeah.
But he was like, "No. I was standing around you when you went down."
Oh yeah.
He's like, and he said, "And that was scary, man."
Yeah, it's scary.
Yeah. So I I've had a seizure in public. I've never witnessed a seizure.
Right.
So
Yeah. And
But-
I've witnessed one and never had one in public. I don't think I've ever had a seizure.
Yeah.
But The reason why we smiled when you started talking about seizures because Alec and I are both fans of the movie. What's the movie where he talks? You're a little seizure boy, aren't you?
Yeah, Tower Heist.
Tower Heist.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Ben Stiller and Eddie Murphy.
Yeah.
He's like, we went to elementary school together, and Eddie Murphy goes, "You that little seizure boy," and he's like, "No, I had an asthma attack."
Yeah.
"You having little seizures, it's convulsing and stuff." Yeah, great.
So we started,
Underrated
Right.
underground movie. If you
So-
haven't seen Tower Heist, go
It's worth
see that.
watching.
It's so
Yeah.
funny. It's a great movie.
And so we started goofing around with him being seizure boy. Oh, little seizure,
Seizure
boy.
boy,
Like
yeah.
the guys at the rec center when you came in. Hey,
no,
that's a
no,
seizure
that
boy."
actually did happen. Like a week and a half later. A week and a half later, I went to go hoop again.
Yeah, yeah.
And as I was walking in, I saw 2 or 3 dudes on the bench go.
Uh-oh, yeah, seizure boy.
They didn't say nothing. They just looked at their buddies and they went,
But you knew what they were thinking.
"Yeah." And I was like, "I'm okay." Yeah.
You gotta. I won't
Yeah.
do that again.
Yeah.
Let them know that you won't do that.
Yeah,
again.
come try and guard me, sucker. No.
I'll seize you up
Yeah,
on you.
yeah.
That'd clear the lane.
Only
wouldn't
seizure happen is me locking you down. Yeah.
it? You could probably clear the lane if you seized up. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I'm driving to the basket, just hit one of these, and they hesitate, and then I just lay it in.
That would be the ultimate hezzy.
That would be, yeah.
The seizure hezzy.
Yeah, a seizure hezzy, man. That's crazy. That's crazy, dude. That's funny.
Yeah, but I think you even said you might, if you get a jersey, you might put.
Yeah. Well, for City League,
Yeah.
we found this great deal where you can get, jerseys on Amazon all customized up for $35, so
Right.
you can put your name and number on them and everything, right?
Right.
And that's what me and my buddies did. We've got these, royal blue jerseys with our name and numbers on them. And I thought, maybe I'll put Seizure Boy on the back of mine instead of my last name,
Right.
Or some other pun of it, Julius Seizure.
Julius Seizure is the one
Yeah.
I remember.
Seizure salad,
As if they,
Yeah,
if
yeah.
they don't know, they'll have to ask you now, won't they?
What happened?
Had a
One
seizure.
time I played so hard I had a seizure. So you don't want to mess with me.
hit my head on the rim.
Yeah. I wish, man.
Yeah.
That's
But
cuckoo. That's crazy.
Now we've seen some pretty good injuries in pickup basketball. Were you there? You were there a couple of weeks ago when we had the kids show up. Really small Mexican kid.
We saw a dude legit Tyrese Halliburton pop his Achilles on a hard
and
step.
it sounded like he stomped on
That
the gym
it sounded
floor.
like he. Yeah.
I thought he stomped.
I thought he stomped the
to stop.
hardwood,
Yeah,
and that was the noise it made.
but it was his Achilles popping.
Because as soon as he did that, he kind of went, "Oh, hold on, guys, hold on."
Yeah.
And he limped off.
He stopped. He didn't even limp.
He's
It
had surgery and he's
Oh,
all fixed
shit,
up. I
good.
asked about him. I was like, "Hey, what happened?"
Good.
And he's like, "No, he went and got it checked out. He got it surgery back up and
Golly.
stuff." So because we were all like, "That might be a torn Achilles."
Yeah.
And it
was scary.
It was. Yep. That was pretty gnarly.
Yeah,
Pretty
And
gnarly.
I come from a world where I've had some knee problems, and I don't know if they can see my knees, but I have tape on them because
Yeah.
probably placebo. But I used to play rec center, and with a kid, and I came across him 15 years later, and he says, "I remember playing rec center with you, and your knee would pop out, and you would."
I remember seeing you do that, and you would do one of those zoop, and pop
I
it
would
back
bend
in.
it around, yeah.
Yeah.
But it'd cause extreme pain.
Oh, it was, yeah. I remember you had some yelps.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
But when I heard the kid that popped his Achilles, he didn't make much noise, and I'm like, "Oh, he's either super tough or it's a different pain."
I think it was, yeah. I've heard that Achilles don't hurt as bad.
You just know it's messed up.
And you know it's messed up, and you know how. I mean, from the way it happened with him is he knew something was terribly wrong.
Right.
And I don't think he knew what it was, and so I think it was like a mix of pain and confusion where he was like,
Yeah, shocked.
Because I'm sure, I mean, anytime I do something to myself, the first thing I say to myself is, "It's not that bad. It'll be better tomorrow." You know
Little
what I mean?
ice and rest. And I'll
Yeah.
be okay.
I'll roll my ankle real bad or something,
Yeah.
and I'll go, "It hurts like crazy right now,
Right.
but it's not that bad. I'll be back at it tomorrow."
It ain't that bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I bet you that's what he was doing when he
He
popped it.
probably could have.
He was like, "Ooh, that don't feel right, but I'm not gonna say it's an Achilles because I don't want it to be an
Right.
Achilles. I'll be better tomorrow." That's
Right.
probably what his internal dialogue
That may be
was.
true because it didn't look like he was young, so he might not have experienced a lot of injuries to that point too.
Yeah,
So maybe that was the issue.
that's
But
probably what it was.
I did roll my ankle one time in a church basketball game.
Yeah.
And I rolled it so bad that I went to the hospital, and they casted my all the way up to my knee to
All the way up to your
isolate.
knee?
Well, I mean, not all the way up, but they basically put my foot in a cast.
Yeah.
They said you've messed it up so bad you just don't need. We need to isolate it, and so they casted it. They didn't put a boot or anything on it. They just casted it. But the cool part was, I'm like you, right?
Yeah.
And I'm like, after a couple days, I'm shooting with the cast on, and then after a week, I'm like, I'm feeling better.
Yeah.
And then 2 weeks later, I had drilled. When you get a cast, it itches so bad inside. I had a little X-Acto knife, and I would drill a little holes in it and scratch with a coat hanger.
Yeah.
And eventually, it just kind of broke off. So after probably 3 weeks after I injured it, it broke off, and I was back to normal.
Yeah.
But it's the only time I've really had an ankle injury that bad, like one, the ones you might have had where they just swell up and it's all purple and blue. And
Yeah.
It's really painful. But
Yeah. I rolled just in this year. I rolled one. It healed all up, and then I rolled the other.
Right.
A few weeks later, and that one still has. I can still feel the tendons trickling in there every now and then. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Something's still not quite right in
Well,
there.
and if you've ever played basketball a lot, you've rolled an ankle.
Yeah, it's unavoidable. Even if, like,
Typically it's from stepping on somebody else's foot too. That's what happens to a lot of
for
us.
me, both times it was coming down with a rebound
Stepping on somebody's foot.
and rolling over the top of it.
Yeah.
And I'm not a high flyer by any means. You know what I mean?
Right.
So it's kind of unavoidable.
But even if you're a couple of inches off, if you step on somebody's foot, you're going to roll your ankle. Yeah. So here's another question along the pickup injuries, all that kind of stuff.
We'll finish off with this one if that's cool.
I'm curious who you think is the best player you've ever played pickup ball, even if you don't know his name. You've played with a lot of guys now in pickup basketball.
Yeah.
And I'm curious if you played with anybody you thought that guy probably played either Division I or...
Well, I've made buddies with... You've met Brandon. He's a smaller Hispanic-looking guy.
Yeah.
Brandon and a bunch of the dudes that he runs with, they played junior college ball.
Okay.
So I've seen a lot of those guys show up
Right.
and hoop, you know?
Yeah.
I've played with a guy who plays for the Boise... Or played. I don't know if he still is, but he played or plays for the Boise Hawks. Baseball. Minor league baseball team.
Okay. So
right?
athlete.
Yeah, so we're talking...
Yeah, premium athlete.
There's levels, but semi-pro baseball.
Right.
And, he may not be the best shooter ever, but
you can tell how athletic
he's
he is.
way stronger than everybody.
Yeah.
He was 6'3".
Right.
Dunk on your butt easy. Yeah, he was a crazy athlete.
Yeah. It's always kind of fun to play with those guys. I mean, even against them. And typically, they don't play their hardest, but
Yeah.
they've got another level that they're not showing.
Yeah. I'm trying to think if there's been any standouts,
I've got
Those couple of guys. Like I said, Brandon and his buddies, one of his buddies named Deddy, and Deddy's brother, and a few of the other guys that they know. Like I said, they played for, I'm trying to remember the name of it. I remember that their mascot is the Viking, because it's a cool, Viking logo, but they played junior college ball. Let me think about it for a second. You have one.
We had. I'll just name two in the past. Since I've been an adult. I mean, at one time we played City League in Dallas, and we won our area, and then we played at a higher, we went up to kind of a state, but it wasn't really state. It was just kind of a region area.
Yeah.
And we ended up playing a guy named Fred Roberts that played for the Celtics.
Jeez.
Big white guy.
Yeah.
And he was probably, I have to look it up, but it seemed like he was at least, and he might not have been, but he sure looked 6'10".
Yeah.
And you could tell he wasn't even trying. But
by the way,
I don't think he was that great of a player in the pros.
That's the big, because
Yeah.
with social media and everything, any kid that's 6'3" or above has hoop dreams
Yeah, of course.
nowadays.
Right.
And the level of kids are getting better and better at a younger age.
Sure.
But that's the ultimate. When you play rec center against a 16 or 17-year-old, that the ultimate sign of are they going to the next level is are they playing their hardest right now?
Right.
Because if they are,
They're not.
they're not going to the next level.
Right.
If they're playing their hardest and they're to hoop against us, then they're not going to the next level.
Yeah, regular
You know what I
guys,
mean?
basically.
Yeah. They're going to be better than all of us. Their ceiling is way higher than the rest of us because of the height and the athleticism and whatever,
Yeah.
But
Yeah, that's what he was doing. He was just having fun. But he grabbed every rebound. He shot 3-pointers. He was doing all kinds of.
Yeah.
He was really good. But
There are levels, man. It's crazy.
the craziest story I ever heard about a basketball player, and this comes directly from a good buddy of mine, Alan Bingham. So he played intramural basketball at BYU. And while he was at BYU, Steve Young, the Hall of Fame quarterback who ended up playing for the 49ers.
Did BYU win a national championship?
Not
while
with
he
him.
was there? Okay, that was years before that.
Well,
Okay.
in '84, my senior year in high school, they did.
BYU won the
Yeah.
national championship.
Yeah, and they had a quarterback. I think his name was Robbie Bosco or something.
Oh, not even a
Not
notable
even one
guy.
of the- not even
Interesting.
Jim
Okay.
McMahon or any of that.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
But
But
anyway,
Steve Young was there while Alan Bingham was.
Steve Young was there while Alan Bingham was, and he's a couple years younger than me.
Yeah.
So Steve Young was there.
And by the way, Alan can hoop
Oh, Alan could hoop. Yeah.
because describe Alan's.
So he's about 5'10" or 5'11".
Oh, I
he's-
thought he was way taller
No,
than that.
no. But he's got size
Okay.
like 13 feet and monster hands. And the dude had bounce, unbelievable bounce. And he wasn't
And he would lock anybody down because he was so long and
long and yeah, he had long arms, yeah, big giant feet, and he could dunk. He could just
Yeah.
throw it down.
Yeah.
Even when we were in our 30s, he could dunk.
yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
And I had lost some bounce by then, so it wasn't my deal anymore. But yeah, so
And he
Alan-
was a skinny dude too.
he was a skinny dude,
and he's
yeah.
a skinny dude still. He's never really
Yeah.
he never really had dad bod or anything.
He's managed that better than some of us have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I bet you it's a genetics thing.
I think he works at it too, though.
Does he? Okay.
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me at all.
Yeah.
Alan's one of those guys. So anyway, Alan's playing intramural, and Steve Young is a football player, so he's not a basketball player, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And so Alan is guarding Steve Young, and Steve Young's about 6'2", 6'3", but Alan is such a great defender. And he said Steve Young really wasn't trying, but he was
Yeah,
just
why
having
would he,
fun.
you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. Plus if he rolls an ankle playing intramurals,
Yeah,
his
it's a
coaches
problem.
are gonna chew
Yeah.
him out, you know.
So he was just kind of standing on the perimeter, catching, shooting 3-pointers, having fun. And Alan was guarding him, and he said at one point, they flipped the ball over to him, and he was in the corner, and he went up with his left hand to shoot a 3-pointer. And Alan, the great defender that he is, with all that hop, he flew up and he put his hand on the ball. He was going to block
Steve Young.
Steve Young taking a 3-point shot in an intramural basketball
And I'm sure
game.
Alan is like, I'm about to
It's all processed in
Yep.
a split second.
in a split second he's going
His hand is on.
the biggest man on campus.
Yeah. His right hand is on Steve Young's left hand with the ball in it. And he said in the middle of his jump, he moved the ball away from Alan's hand and put it in his right hand and drained the 3-pointer. And
So Steve Young was left-handed.
Yes, and he was already in the air,
Mid jump shot at the peak of his jump.
pulled it down, switched hands,
Shot it,
dropped the
swished
3-pointer.
it.
Swished it.
Jeez,
and
man.
Alan landed, he said he landed and he looked at him and Steve Young just ran down court. He didn't say anything or do anything.
Yeah, yeah.
And Alan, in that moment, Alan said,
Oh, there are levels.
they're different. There's just differences, yeah.
Yep.
And that guy wasn't a basketball player; he was a football player.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And so, and that it's probably for a lot of those guys that.
Well-
many of those guys could have played.
Well,
at
we've
the
kind of
highest
talked about
level.
this.
Yeah.
I think that back then, and even in the last 10 or 15 years, multi-sport athletes was a much bigger thing.
Yeah,
Kids
yeah.
are specializing like crazy
They really
nowadays,
are, yeah.
especially in basketball.
Yeah.
I think if we get another 10 years down the line, basketball players won't be able to do nothing else.
Except play basketball. Yeah, you say that, but let me tell you
I
something.
know. They're
You get a
levels.
6'3" shooting guard, and you
Yeah.
run him out on wide receiver.
Yeah, he's going to
Oh,
burn
he's going to
you.
run
He
around, and he's
gonna-
going to catch it, and he's
I
going to
know.
score. Yeah.
But what I'm saying
Yeah.
is, I bet you Steve Young was an all-state basketball player in high school.
He probably was. Yeah,
and it wasn't even his thing.
right.
You know?
And he probably didn't even want to play. He probably just played for fun.
Yeah, but his high school coaches
Yeah.
his high school coaches didn't know he was going to be a Hall of Fame quarterback, so they're
Yeah.
like, yeah,
Steve,
come
on, man.
and come play outfield.
yeah,
right, of
he
course.
probably played center field. Or
And he was
something, too.
probably all state in all three of them
pitcher.
sports. Yeah, for real, you know.
And I think I think Danny Ainge was played professional baseball too. I think back then guys just had the ability to do all
Yeah,
that
yeah,
stuff.
yeah.
I mean, if you're athletic, and you can figure out the details, right?
Yeah,
Basketball is one of those unique ones to me where it's not just running and catching. You know, you gotta learn to shoot. There's some shooting.
The absolute most mechanics-driven one is baseball
well, baseball
because of
to
hitting.
me,
Because of hitting alone.
I agree, but I think my personal opinion on hitting is it's more of a skill. It's more of an inborn
Fair.
skill.
Yeah.
Because we had a guy that played baseball for our high school team that was just a fat kid that couldn't play any sports, and that dude could rake.
Yeah. But like I'm saying, it's a mechanics thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, because
Yeah.
you will have, the top level dudes in basketball and baseball or
Yeah.
in football, and you
Right.
give them a bat in their hands, and they look like
Yeah, they look uncomfortable. Yeah. But saying that, I think I saw a video about Allen Iverson. Apparently, he was a quarterback in high school, just unbelievable.
yeah.
And that was his favorite sport.
Uh,
And he wanted to do that, but his mom told
I
him
know
not to
Tony
play anymore.
Gonzalez said, I would have much rather played basketball.
Tony Gonzalez said that.
In a podcast is what I heard him say.
Yeah.
And he said not because of one thing. He says football is just a hard way to make a living, man.
Yeah. Well, and I know Gates, the tight end for
Didn't even play.
he played college basketball,
Crazy.
and they drafted him, and he ended up being a Hall of Fame tight
Crazy,
end.
man.
Some athletes are just different, aren't they?
They're just different.
They're just different. So
And we're not one of them. And that's
We
that's
know who
that's
we
the way
are.
we can tie. Yeah,
Yeah,
I'll
that's
go
right.
play 3 times a week. I'll have a bunch of fun.
that's right.
But I am not one of them. And that's okay.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
just a semi-chubby
We're
white
like
guy.
everybody else. We're
Yeah.
average guys doing fun things, right?
Yeah.
So,
All right.
all right.
See you guys next time.
See you later.